These are the most terrifying moments ever seen in football. A player tries to shoot at goal, but the ball slips out of control. In his rush to save the play, he crashes hard into Donnarumma. Desperate to avoid falling, he leaps and, with the sole of his boot, catches the goalkeeper's face. The scene is brutal. Donnarumma's face is a mess, and the entire stadium holds its breath. Hudger is driving the ball forward when Pavard comes sliding in and hits him full on. Trying not to land on his opponent, Hudger tries to steady himself and ends up planting the sole of his boot right into Pavard's neck. The image is shocking. Pavard is badly hurt, a frightening moment even for those watching at home. Thiago Silva contests for the ball, but it goes out of play. At that moment, Cucurella comes barreling in and boots the ball away, infuriating his opponent. He storms over and shoves Cucurella flat to the ground in a completely unnecessary scene. The referee doesn't hesitate. Yellow card. By then, the atmosphere has already turned heavy. Mitoma is sprinting with the ball when suddenly a bone-crunching tackle arrives. The opponent connects with the ball, but also flattens Mitoma's knee in a brutal blow. The foul was dirty. Despite any intention, the referee shows a straight red. The player can't believe it as Mitoma writhes in agony on the turf. A Watford player, completely out of control, flies in with a terrible challenge on a Brighton opponent. The impact is so powerful that the Brighton man goes down furious and in terrible pain. The referee wastes no time, straight red. A terrifying moment that crosses the line and sets alarm bells ringing on the field. Inside the box, a player jumps awkwardly and boots his opponent square in the face. The German player falls instantly and needs medical attention. Everyone's tense. The referee doesn't even think twice and sends off the player in blue. A red-clad player boots the ball downfield but catches his opponent square in the stomach with the sole of his boot. The blow lands perfectly and the man drops, doubled over in pain. The referee shows a red card immediately, one of those frightening instances that remind you how a split-second lapse can turn the pitch into a hospital. Richarlison starts juggling the ball in the middle of the game, showing off that provocative flair he's known for. The opponents don't appreciate it one bit. One of them lunges and fouls him, knocking the Brazilian to the ground. Tempers flare, and the incident becomes controversial. A City player tries to clear the ball, but arrives in full-on reckless fashion, clattering his opponent's leg hard. The collision is nasty. The victim goes down in agony, and the referee doesn't hesitate to send him off. Straight red for that one. Mbappé tries to burst forward at top speed, but is stopped in brutal fashion. A criminal tackle lands flush on his ankle, which twists on the spot. Mbappé collapses, screaming, and must be stretchered off immediately. The referee shows him the door without a second thought. At a Liverpool corner, the ball drops to Doku to clear, but his clearance strikes McAllister with the studs. It's clearly an accident, but the impact is severe and the Argentine stays down, writhing in pain. The referee is still debating whether to award a penalty. Look at this challenge from the Feyenoord player. A scissor tackle catching his opponent's legs without even touching the ball. The challenge is dangerous and completely out of control. Check out this next one. Intentional or not, I don't know, but his reaction says it all. Watch this goalkeeper. He punks the ball with force, and while his foot is still in the air, tries to kick the attacker standing in front of him. The scene is surreal. To top it off, the instant his foot hits the ground, he simply collapses out of nowhere. The referee saw everything and booked him. Kudus totally loses it. First he trips a Tottenham player, then kicks him to the turf. The opponent gets up to confront him, but Kudus, out of patience, slaps him in the face and knocks him down again. As if that weren't enough, Richarlison tries to intervene and ends up slamming his head into Kudus, who also fall. In other words, Kudus takes down two players in a single play. Insane scene, and of course, he's sent off immediately. Griezmann receives a shoulder challenge on the flank, loses balance, and smashes his face into the advertising hoarding. Blood flows from a cut on his head. It's a brutal moment that scares everyone around. Gavi is on the pitch when suddenly he grips his right leg and stops dead, clutching it in agony. His coach immediately senses the seriousness and calls for a substitution. Gavi limps off, visibly distraught, a worrying moment no one wants to see in football. Bruno Guimaraes charges in with everything and unleashes a thunderous kick on a Chelsea player. The blow is crisp and the impact is obvious. Chelsea's players swarm Bruno, demanding an explanation. It ends with just a yellow card for the Brazilian. Garnacho is racing down the flank when he's stopped by a violent sliding tackle to the bone. He hits the ground at once, writhing in pain as the stadium collectively tenses. The referee instantly shows his opponent a red card. On a cross, Griezmann positions himself for a header, but suddenly he's clobbered from behind by a brutal foul. The impact is direct, and he collapses immediately. One of those terrifying moments you never see coming. Grealish is shoved from behind in a clear foul, and when he's on the ground, he's socked by a flying ball, filled with pure malice from the opponent. The scene enrages everyone. Players surround the referee, and the atmosphere boils over. A despicable act that turns a simple foul into a completely unnecessary spectacle. The ball is in danger, and Donnarumma rushes out of goal to clear, but the opponent is faster and swings for goal. They collide hard, and Donnarumma, by momentum, boots the attacker right in the face. The referee has no doubt, immediate expulsion for the goalkeeper. Azpilicueta lobs the ball clear, but a Fulham player arrives far too late and clatters him around the legs. The impact is brutal, no chance to play the ball. The referee shows a straight red, and it's out for the Fulham player. Sam tries to stop Andre Gomes with a tackle, and although he doesn't mean to, the clash ends tragically. Gomes crashes into Aurier and suffers a severe leg fracture. Sam's face says it all, utter despair. The stadium falls silent and the mood shifts completely. A horrifying accident that shows how football can turn into drama in the blink of an eye. Raul of Fulham comes completely unhinged and lands a brutal flying kick on a Newcastle player who was simply controlling the ball. The impact is direct to the face. The man goes out cold immediately, clutching his head in shock. A gut-wrenching scene that easily ranks among the most brutal in football history. United's number 10 goes all out to steal the ball from João Pedro of Brighton, but slides in dangerously and ends up scissors tackling his opponent's leg. The referee doesn't spare him. Second yellow, straight red. The goalkeeper rushes off his line to clear but boots the first blue-clad player outright, knocking him to the turf. As if that weren't enough, he swings at another blue-clad player as the ball pops loose, flattening a second man. A complete shambles on the pitch, almost like a human bowling strike. Another absurd moment. The keeper races out again. The ball comes directly at him, and in trying to clear, he smashes the attacker in the head with his studded boot. The impact is so severe that even the fans in the stands are left in shock. The player goes down instantly and must be stretchered off. The number 17 is met with a bone-crunching tackle, and his ankle twists in a terrifying way. He collapses, screaming in agony. The medics rush on, the stadium grows tense, and it's so bad that an ambulance has to enter the pitch to take him away. A white-clad player is held by an opponent in blue during a play. He loses his temper and kicks back to free himself. An utterly unnecessary act that could have been avoided. Mbappé was about to receive the ball at top speed when he took a direct stomp on his ankle, which twisted alarmingly. He hit the ground in agony, and the referee showed a straight red to his opponent. In a match, Mexico's number 22 was shoved from behind, sending him into the goalkeeper's legs. The collision was so hard that the player went unconscious on the pit, causing major panic among teammates and medical staff. They removed him immediately to receive care. Dani Carvajal tried to clear the ball in stoppage time, but collided with Jeremy Pino. The blow landed directly on his right knee, and the Real Madrid fullback went down, clutching the joint in agony. The moment was frighteningly serious. He suffered severe ligament damage and needed surgery. That's it, folks. This was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you made it this far, comment, leave your like, and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.